Here now with your webinar preview for the next few days. We've got some really fascinating webinar topics coming up, so hopefully you'll be able to take some time and watch 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 of these webinars. First up, we have a webinar that is actually happening today at 1 p.m. Eastern. It's called Automated Deployment Monitoring with Lightstep and CodeFresh. And it is obviously jointly sponsored by Lightstep and CodeFresh. They're actually going to be talking about how their technologies, when used together, can actually help organizations ensure that their commits and their builds result in a better end user experience. So definitely this is one you want to check out if you are having any issues with your end user experience. They're also going to be talking about how to set up auto scaling with Kubernetes and how to add custom instrumentation using OpenTelemetry. So definitely, as I said, one to check out. We also have a great webinar coming up on Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern. It's called The Domainless Enterprise, Introducing the Simplified and More Secure IT Infrastructure of the Future. That one is a mouthful. This one is sponsored by JumpCloud, and it actually features Rajat Bhargava, who is the co-founder and CEO of JumpCloud, and Alan Schimmel, CEO of MediaOps, our fearless leader and editor-in-chief. And they are going to talk about a new decentralized IT infrastructure approach that actually helps organizations enable their employees to adopt digital tools faster and with less agita, as they say in the New York tri-state area. Also coming up Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern is diving into the evil internet. Vulnerability prioritization through the eyes of hackers. This one's going to be really fascinating, I think. This one is sponsored by WhiteSource. On tap for this webinar will be the top 5 most common ways that organizations can prioritize their security vulnerabilities, as well as how each of those approaches correlates with the perspective of the hacker community, and then the 2 best vulnerability prioritization approaches. So this is a must for any organization that is concerned about its security posture, and really seriously, what organization is not concerned these days. So these are the 3 webinars that we have coming up in the next few days. They're all going to be happening on DevOps.com, and you can always check out the DevOps.com website to see what webinars we have both coming up and on demand. Just go to DevOps.com/webinars. Same with webinars that we have coming up on Security Boulevard, and if you will tune in next week, we will have another edition of the webinar preview and give you guys the latest and greatest in what's happening in the wonderful world of webinars. But until then, I hope everybody stays safe.
Hey, thanks, Charlene, for a great interview and for giving us our webinar preview. So now after Charlene, it's always time to head to the Analyst Corner with Mitch. Of course, Mitchell was on earlier today in my interview with him and Sanjeev on the state of software delivery. But now here's Mitchell again. Mitchell Ashley, CEO, founder, Accelerated Strategies Group. Mitchell, take it away.
Hi, welcome to Analyst Corner. Mitch Ashley, CEO of Accelerated Strategies Group. There's been a lot on TechStrong TV and a lot of other places this week about a new report that we launched, some research report around software delivery management. And I know I've talked about it here. So not to kind of pound one more nail into the wood, if you will, I do want to advocate for you to check it out. Well, you can go to Accelerated Strategies website, and it's accelst.com, and get access to the report. There's also a link to the full report that you can download, as well as executive summary. And I think it's been an interesting process. And what I wanted to share with you today is just some of the learnings that I've had going through the research rather than what the research itself was about. In putting that survey that we did, but also a lot of the interviews that went through the process that our analysts worked on, it's really a question of how do you value and put some kind of quantification against software, because it's often been viewed as such a mysterious process. Well, we kind of get what we get when we get it. Has been sort of the fallback if all else fails, just sort of kind of hands off and let it go. Now, I'm not saying that that's what happens everywhere, but it is kind of what happens when the business folks give up because they can't get a predictable, reliable answer. But also on the other side, I've lived on the other side, and it's software creation is a creative process. It's not a plug three things together, test it, and see if it works. Sure, that happens, but inside of how those things get created is based on people and their ideas and their abilities and skills and learning or learnings, all of those things. So in putting together the research survey that we did, it was very interesting to me to think through how do we measure, how do we quantify, and how do we value both software that we're getting out of the software delivery process, but also measure that throughout the software delivery lifecycle, if you will, the software delivery management cycle. There's been so many different methodologies to create software and track software development and delivery. And all of those things help. And I think there's certainly fundamental skills around project management, a lot of good things that go into it. But I think at the core of it all is really understanding, one, how are you implementing continuous improvement? Because a process is only as good as your ability to improve it, because no process is perfect. And a process, even one to measure other things, has to be improved itself. Because oftentimes, either what you're measuring today was the right thing, but today isn't the right thing any longer, or the learnings from measuring those processes inform you or can inform you, give you some insights for areas for improvement. And that's where this continuous improvement, continuous learning comes back into play. Just writing a piece the other day around the role of DevOps, the cloud, and mainframes, and the importance of the imperative around really that mainframes are a big part of our environment and our success for many businesses. I mean, you don't have to be in business too long, whether it's on a mainframe or not, to have an embedded base of code, maybe an application or an architecture that's now, we would call it out of date based on how we would develop it today. If you're going to develop an Uber or vacation by owner rental kind of application, you develop it differently today than you would have 5 or 7 years ago. Today, you'd look back on that and say, that's old. That's not how we do things now. So every time we write a line of code, every time we build a new microservice, every time we deploy a new application or an update to an app, how we did those things was established at some point in time, and everything's evolved from that. And the way we measure software and software creation has to evolve with that. Now, for me, software delivery management is looking at it not just from the software team or the IT organization, even the product and product development in the product group, wherever it may be occurring. It's really crossing that bridge, really connecting the dots between what we're measuring and what the outcome is going to be and how that outcome is going to impact the business. Because someone at the beginning of this process made the decision to invest a substantial amount of dollars. May have been in prioritizing a budget, may have been submitting for a new product to be created, and here's the software costs and going through the financial justification to do that. Well, that justification isn't just about spending money. It's about achieving some result, right? We're going to be able to launch the service. We're going to be able to improve what we have. We're going to change the experience for the customer. We're going to stop losing to our competitor in this market. We're going to achieve parity or excel past parity in our ability, maybe creating some differentiated feature, something that really is going to grab the market, any number of things that were really the driver behind why we spend that money. And I think it's so easy being part of an IT organization, especially a large one, to never have any insight into why that is. All we hear is the folks want this new billing capability, or they're looking for us to add this feature into our web app or our mobile application or whatever it is. But we don't always get to see, those folks don't always get to see the connection to what the business is trying to achieve. And I think that's an evolution for even software delivery management, is really connecting that software creation process and the management processes that we use to understanding what the desired outcome of what we're going to deliver is, not just the delivery of software. It's I've said several times in the past couple of weeks, the number of times per hour that we deploy into production is kind of an irrelevant measure if you don't know why that's important to do. It may not be important to do. Matter of fact, I would rather get one drop of code once a month that was the right stuff, as opposed to 1 million deploys into production per hour that are all the wrong thing. So just to pick an extreme example, obviously, I'm not sure anybody's doing 1 million, hopefully not, but especially 1 million that don't count. Talk about heavy waste. But you get my point. It's about the outcome we're trying to measure. So as we're engaging with software teams, I think it's incumbent upon the business owner, the product owner, the strategist, whoever it is that's driving the investment of that cost, to be super clear about why we want this and what we hope the outcome to be, what we need the outcome to be, and ask our technologists, while you're creating this, can you incorporate in your process ways of assessing how we're hitting that target? I know we won't be in production to achieve it yet, but I'd like your insights to, if we're going after a competitor to gain parity in this feature set, are we really going to achieve parity? They may be better at assessing what that competitor does than we are, or vice versa. Maybe the product team that are going to be much more adept, say, for example, of some financial service that maybe the software developers are not as expert in. So it can go both ways. And that's the other side of this, is as the technology deliverers, the people who are creating the software, that's part of crossing that divide too, is asking that question. Help us understand. Let us share with you our insights about this. We may not be as knowledgeable about you, the business owner, product owner, about certain aspects of that. But we're also pretty close to this and we understand it pretty well. And we may have thoughts and ideas to share with you how we think we could help achieve that. Not things that are on our agenda, but things that might help your agenda and what you're trying to achieve. So behind all this research report and knowledge nugget videos and social media tweeting and everything else that's happened this week with the launch of the software delivery management state of report for 2020 that happened this week. Now, there's a lot of things that behind the scene for me are drivers around, okay, we're looking, we're trying to understand, we're trying to measure what are the right things to do. And I hope you'll check out the report and see if any of those insights make sense to you, resonate, or you think there's something we missed the mark on. I especially want to hear if you think we've missed the mark on something, but also let us know what's helpful as well. But that's what's been driving my thinking, leading through this whole process. Man, frankly, kind of a big part of my career has been that of how do we get the best outcome for our efforts. And people hate working on projects that fail. People hate even worse projects that fail because nobody cared, because we don't need that. Well, that's all right. Fun if we don't need it, but wow, what a waste of people's passion, energy, expertise, all of that stuff. So if I can advocate for one thing, it would be to take a look at the report and read it with that in mind and see if you think we're helping move the discipline, kind of move the ball downfield, to use that analogy, or if you have thoughts and ideas about that. I love when I get contacted by folks, and it happens over LinkedIn and email and all different kinds of ways. And not everyone is in agreement with me, or even complimentary sometimes. It's pretty rare, but it does happen. And I don't mind being challenged at all, especially when I'm wrong, because I need to know that I'm wrong. But anyway, we love the feedback, and we appreciate that you would follow us on the Analyst Corner, read our research, participate in it, which is super valuable to everyone. And I hope that it benefits you, which is one of the reasons why we stick to and apply the knowledge wants to be free, because we want to share that with you and see if it can make a difference for all of us and help inform our work too, so we can do a better job for everyone. So thanks for listening today. I hope you have a good rest of your week, and we look forward to connecting with you in the future.
With the COVID-19 pandemic, it is important to protect yourself and others from spreading the virus. Prevention and personal safety is key. Here are the top ways you can protect yourself and others. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Avoid touching your face. Practice social distancing and avoid high-risk potential people. If you are showing symptoms, stay at home. If you must go out, wear a face mask. Always cover coughs and sneezes with a tissue or use the inside of your elbow. Clean and sanitize frequently touched surfaces daily. Together, we can prevent this pandemic.
That's going to wrap it up for Thursday, July 23rd. I hope you have enjoyed today's show. We had a lot of great content on there. We're not going to be on tomorrow. It's Friday, and we traditionally show one of our TechStrong TV shows from our archives, so I hope you'll enjoy that. And God willing, we will be here Monday with another fresh show with some great guests, some great content, some great learning opportunities. And we hope you will as well. Until then, though, this is Alan Schimmel. Stay safe, stay well, stay strong, Tech Strong.